Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Tuesday night. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day. I'm going to share two things, two current events that are going on right now that I believe are just straight up miracles. Yes, miracles still happen. They didn't just happen in the biblical days uh, that we read about and talk about. They're happening right now. I'm going to talk about them. I'm also going to share a really relevant verse towards the end, so stay tuned for that. But yes, I'm going to do something a little different in this video. There is so much bad news, there's so much going on that we're worried about. I get it. That I'm going to share something a little different that I think we all need to hear. I know there's so much, like I said, there's so much happening, and it's mostly bad news. The world looks like it's just gone off its rocker. Uh, it's overwhelming. It's like every day we wake up and there's something strange or weird and troubling, just downright disturbing. Okay, and we're covering that, of course, and we'll continue to do that. And but I think we need to keep our focus. Let's don't get so overwhelmed and stretched out there to where we cannot hardly function and that we're so stressed. Okay. We need to keep focused on our faith, our families, ourselves, and there's only so much that we can control, right? Um, so again, let's try to decompress and take a deep breath. Um, First, I'm going to talk about some things that I think we could be doing out there that I talk a lot about lack of civility. I think that it's all but gone, but it's still out there. And think about just how we're interacting with other people. And I'm not talking just online. You can do this online too, and be uh, extend grace and be nice and that kind of thing. But in person, even more so. Whether it's a neighbor, uh, when you're out at a store or retail, all the service workers, restaurants, co-workers, you know, where you can, the best that you can. I know not every situation it's easy to do. I get it. But whether it's service workers, especially your neighbors, you know, spend a few minutes. It's not like you got to spend a day project and give up all this time and money, whatever. It can be something very short. It could be less than a minute. It can be a couple of minutes. You can spare that. You can spare that, and just smile. Ask how they're doing. Ask how the family is doing. How the kids doing. What's going on? Can I help you? If they need help or if you recognize something, maybe they just needed that smile. That may be the only one they see that day. Same with out there in the public. I've been in a store before. Mrs. Dawg has experienced this too. We go into stores, you pay for something, have a little interaction with the person checking you out, and I've had them say right as I'm leaving, "Thank you for being a nice customer," because they just been beat down all day long, but rude people. And not everybody's rude, I know, but and they're like, "Hey, somebody smiled and said something. I appreciate it." So, and when you do that, when you're, say a kind word, thank them. They're working, uh, it makes you feel good too. It really does, and you would want that in return if you were, if the roles were switched. So think about the things we can do. If a neighbor is in need, especially your elderly, check on them, check on them. Because I would want it done to me when I get that age. And we're all approaching that, right? We're all getting closer every day. So we don't know what people are going through. People seem stressed. We don't know what they're dealing with. They might have lost a family member just a day ago, or a week ago, or a year ago, and they're still dealing with it. Okay. Let's keep that in mind. Grace. Okay. Grace. Two good things that are going on right now. Again, I think they're miracles. The first thing, and this is not being talked about as much, but in the country of Turkey, where these terrible earthquakes were going on, they're still rescuing people out of that rubble. Can you believe that? 8 days later, we were watching a story a while ago. They were pulling a 65-year-old man out of the rubble. 8 days since he got buried alive. I think it was like 2 days ago they pulled out a 64-year-old woman. They're pulling out young people, people of all ages, but they're still finding people alive. 7 people have been rescued in the last 8 days. How is that even possible? You're not supposed to be able to survive more than 3 days without water. Now, depending on how they were trapped, how deep, maybe they were in a space where they still had a little access to a little water or runoff if it was raining or snowing. We don't know the details. It's still a miracle in my book that these people are alive and able to reach their hand out from the dang rocks, like I saw in this video a while ago. It's incredible. It's incredible. I can't explain it other than it's a miracle of God. It is. Even in great disasters, he's still working. He's still working miracles, and he's in charge. He is. So I've been really just amazed by that. I really have. The other thing is the revival. I mentioned it, but this revival that's going on in Kentucky, Asbury University, I forget the name of the town. It's a very small town. This started back on Wednesday on the 8th. We're on the 14th right now, y'all. This thing keeps growing. It's not dwindling down. It's growing. Now, this thing apparently started organically, a chapel service, and it just lingered, and it just kept going. And then people started talking about it, and then people from the area churches and schools and universities close by started coming in. So it started to grow on social media and by word of mouth and just, in the community. And it just keeps growing. You got people coming in there now from out of state. All like I was watching some videos of it at lunchtime, and people were on YouTube videoing, doing a video of them driving into this town, saying they drove 6 hours away, 4 hours away. One was 5 hours, all over the place. And it's causing traffic jams. And this is a small town. It said they only have like one chain restaurant there, and they've had to overflow the main auditorium where this began, and it's still going. It's so full. They got people coming out. You got standing room only in there still to this day. It's around the clock, and you got people waiting, trying to come in. And so they've opened up a couple of other buildings and auditoriums not far from there, where it's continuing in there. That's pretty amazing. I mean, think about that. Think about that. And it's funny because I've been thinking about it, and I've been praying about it, and I even mentioned it, I know, a few weeks ago, and I mentioned it before, that we may yet see a revival in this country. Who would have thought it'd be started by students, college students? I wasn't thinking that. I've had a feeling for a while we would see a revival. I just had a feeling. I knew it was coming this year. But I didn't see it starting by kids, basically. That's what they're kids, and which is even better. It's even better. It's awesome. It just really is. What a blessing. But do yourself a favor if you haven't yet. You can YouTube it, you can Google it, whatever. But just Google Asbury or revival in Kentucky. You'll see all kind of stuff come up. People are vlogging, they say, the video blog, have them in there and the music, and it just keeps going. It just keeps going. If you want to be inspired, watch a few videos, some shorts about that. You will be inspired and blessed. One professor there, college professor there at the university, said, "We are witnessing a surprising work of God here." He's right. I believe he is right. And the timing couldn't be better. Lord knows, country needs a revival. I've heard that this is spreading. I don't have details. I would hope so. I've heard of some others sprouting up here and there, but it's hopefully that will just keep spreading. And this was gonna keep going for a while, the way it looks. So I think that's just awesome. Leads me into my verse for the day is probably something you've heard before from Matthew chapter 24, verse 12 today. Says, because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. Are we not seeing that? Especially in the last few years? We are seeing that. Let's not be in that most category. Let's be outside of that and be an example. Be an example. Even if you're not a faith, even if you're not a Christian, you know, A, you're still welcome here on this channel. And B, let's do what we can to not be in this group that's wicked. Treat others like you want to be treated. That's my message. Share your thoughts. Let's stay safe out there. God bless you. See you soon.